The DOJ just released missing Epstein files. And the reason this story exploded is simple. The documents include FBI interview summaries with an accuser making allegations involving President Trump. Now, before anything else, these are allegations recorded in FBI interviews. They are uncorroborated, and the White House calls them baseless. This isn't a conviction. It's a document release story. But here's why it still matters. Because the most suspicious part isn't only what's inside the files. It's that they were missing in the first place. PBS reports the Justice Department released a batch of previously unreleased Epstein-file documents that include notes from FBI interviews with a woman who says she was assaulted by Trump as a minor and was also a victim of Epstein. PBS says the documents were released after multiple news outlets discovered they were missing from the initial mass release. And then the next question becomes the real story. How do documents like this go missing in a case this high profile? PBS Justice correspondent Ali Rogan breaks down what the release actually contains. She says the newly released material includes summaries of 3 interviews the FBI conducted with this accuser. Interviews where she alleged Epstein brought her to meet Trump when she was between 13 and 15. She also says the accuser described alleged assault and said she had 2 additional interactions, but didn't expand further in that moment. Again, serious allegations. But the key issue right now is not proving guilt on YouTube. The key issue is, why were these documents not included earlier? And Rogan gives a specific answer. She says these 3 summaries are part of a set of 4. The 4th summary was already released earlier because it focused on Epstein and did not mention Trump. So why were the 3 that mentioned Trump missing? PBS says reporters caught the discrepancy because descriptions of all 4 summaries were included on a list provided to attorneys for Ghislaine Maxwell. Then DOJ responded publicly. According to PBS, DOJ said the interviews had been incorrectly deemed duplicative and were subsequently published. That's an important word, duplicative. Because in a case like this, duplicate can sound harmless, like a filing mistake. But to the public, it sounds like something else. A label that can be used to keep certain material out of view. Now DOJ also says unredacted versions will be available for members of Congress to review. But here's the part that keeps this story hot. PBS reports journalists still believe additional documents remain missing. Ali Rogan cites reporting that at least 37 pages are still missing, including notes that inform the summaries and internal communication that would memorialize how the situation with the accuser was resolved. That's where the suspense comes from. Because summaries are one thing, but notes that inform the summaries and internal communications are what people obsess over. The context, the decisions, the why. Then PBS covers the political response. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt put out a statement calling the accusations completely baseless and described the accuser as a sadly disturbed woman with an extensive criminal history. PBS then raises the obvious question. If the accuser is unidentified, how would the White House know that? Rogan responds that the interview summaries include details where the accuser discusses arrests as a minor. And then PBS adds another detail that will make your viewers lean in. Rogan says, new reporting from Miami Herald investigative reporter Julie K. Brown suggested DOJ officials who spoke to the woman found her credible, and she said the FBI wouldn't have interviewed her 4 times if they didn't. Now, let's add what Reuters reported, because it's important for framing. Reuters said DOJ released previously undisclosed FBI interviews from 2019 with a woman making allegations involving Trump. Reuters notes the documents were omitted initially due to a coding error and that the allegations are uncorroborated. Reuters also reports the FBI stopped contact with her after she expressed doubts about what could be done. So here's what makes this a perfect YouTube story. It's not a prove this happened story. It's an evidence release and missing records story. The public doesn't trust this case. So when a batch drops, and then journalists say some were missing, and DOJ says they were coded as duplicates, and reporters say more pages are still missing, people don't see bureaucracy. They see a fight over narrative. And that's the real fuel here. Not a single allegation, but the pattern of information control. So the final question isn't, is this true? The final question is, in the biggest scandal of its kind, why does the paper trail keep looking incomplete?